Picture this. In 1977, a young programmer with a bold vision looked at the database industry and saw not what it was, but what it could become. Fast forward 48 years later, and that same visionary just experienced the kind of financial earthquake that reshapes the global wealth rankings overnight. Larry Ellison didn't just build a company, he built a dynasty with a staggering 26 billion surge in his personal fortune. Ellison had just claimed the title of the world's second richest person. His massive personal fortune reached 243 billion. This isn't just another rich get rich story. This is a culmination of nearly 5 decades of strategic brilliance, calculated risk, and almost supernatural ability to see around corners in the tech industry. Ellison has been operating at billionaire status since 1993. That's over 3 decades of sustained wealth creation. But on Thursday, 26 billion jump fueled Oracle's soaring stock performance, catapulted his net worth to an astronomical 243 billion, leapfrogging the tech titans like Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Warren Buffett. What does it take to not just survive, but dominate for nearly half a century in the most competitive industry on earth? This isn't luck. This isn't timing. This is the result of a business philosophy so robust, so adaptable, that it has weathered every tech revolution from mainframes to cloud computing, from dot-com crash to AI boom. Ellison co-founded Oracle when most people couldn't even pronounce database, let alone understand why every business would eventually need one. While others built companies, Ellison built the invisible infrastructure that powers the digital world. While others chase trends, Ellison created a foundation that trends are built upon. And today, we're dissecting the strategic DNA of a man who turned 2000 investment into a $250 billion fortune. We're going inside his mind that saw the future of enterprise software before the enterprise even knew it needed software. This is Larry Ellison, the oracle of Silicon Valley, the architect of the database revolution, and now the second richest human on planet Earth. What can his 48-year journey teach us about building businesses that don't just survive, but reshape the entire industries? You're about to find out. And the first strategy is called the unbreakable grip. So, Larry Ellison understood a fundamental truth. You don't just sell a product, you sell the nervous system of a business. His genius marketing wasn't about flashy features, it was about positioning Oracle's database as the absolute non negotiable, mission critical core of any serious enterprise. By embedding their technology deep into the IT infrastructure of virtually every major corporation, Oracle created an architectural dependency, a digital root system so pervasive, so fundamental, that extracting it became an astronomical, often impossible undertaking. This wasn't just a customer loyalty, it was a strategic lock in a digital handcuff. So, what's the takeaway for you? Don't just sell solution. Identify the most critical foundational component of your customer's operation that your product or service could become. Position your offering not as an add on, but as the indispensable operating system for their success. Make switching costs not just high, but strategically unthinkable. And strategy number two, it's called the weaponized uncertainty. So, the psychological edge Larry Ellison and Oracle mastered the art of competitive psychological warfare: fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or FUD. When rivals emerged, Oracle didn't just highlight their own strengths, they actively and aggressively, often publicly, sowed seeds of doubt about their competitors' stability, their technology's viability, or their long term future. It wasn't, this wasn't merely negative campaigning, it was a calculated strategy to freeze the customer decision making, pushing them towards the perceived safe Oracle option. It's like a chess grandmaster not just making their own moves, but subtly undermining their opponent's confidence in their own pieces. So for your business, while unethical FUD is a no-go, the underlying principle is powerful. Deeply understand and articulate the risk associated with not choosing your solution or choosing a competitor. Position your offering as the most secure, stable, and future proof option by highlighting potential vulnerabilities in the broader market, making your choice the clear risk mitigating decision. Which then leads us to strategy number three, the predator's playbook. Acquisition as annihilation. Oracle's M&A strategy under Ellison wasn't just about growth. It was about market consolidation as a weapon. Take the PeopleSoft acquisition. It wasn't just to gain market share, but to eliminate major rival in the enterprise application space. They acquired companies like Sun Microsystems, not just for revenue, but for strategic technologies like Java and Solaris, which became indispensable parts of the Oracle stack. This was relentless pursuit of dominance, where acquisitions serve as strategic strikes to reduce competition and increase market leverage. So, what's the lesson for you? And the takeaway for you is when considering acquisitions, look beyond simple revenue, evaluate target based on strategic competitive threat. Also, access to critical technologies that could become industry standards or their ability to fundamentally alter the market dynamics in your favor. So think of M&A not just an expansion, but as a strategic chess move to reshape the entire board, which leads us to the fourth strategy, which is called the financial masterpiece. So turning customers into cash wells, Oracle didn't just sell software licenses. They engineered a financial masterpiece, the perpetual software maintenance contract, and this meant after a client bought a license, they paid substantial annual fees for support, updates, and bug fixes year after year, almost indefinitely. This mechanism created an immensely profitable, highly predictable, recurring cash flow stream, largely independent of new license sales. This predictable torrent of revenue funded Oracle's aggressive R&D, fueled their acquisition sprees, and ensured unprecedented financial stability, making them almost immune to market fluctuations. It was like finding an oil well that never runs dry. So, how does this apply to you? Well, analyze your business model for opportunities to transform one time transactions into recurring, high margin revenue streams. Design tiered service agreements, subscription models, or long term support contracts that provide predictable cash flow and deepen customer relationships, creating an economic moat around your business. Now, we move on to strategy number five, and it's called uncompromising excellence. The performance obsession from day one, Oracle was defined by an almost fanatical obsession with engineering excellence and database performance. Ellison pushed his teams to build a database faster, more reliable, and capable of handling more data than anything else on the market. This wasn't just about product development, it was operational ethos. Oracle relentlessly benchmarked itself against competitors, pushing the boundaries what was technically possible. This ensured their core product remained demonstrably superior, robust enough to handle most demanding, mission critical enterprise workloads. The lesson for you, well, instill a culture of relentless operational excellence and performance benchmarking in your core product or service. Identify the absolute critical performance metrics that matter most to your customers and commit to continuously exceeding industry standards, making technical or service superiority a non negotiable, undeniable differentiator. Now, let's talk about the sixth strategy and lesson is the Spartan Crucible, forging elite talent. So Ellison fostered an intensely competitive, often cutthroat internal culture at Oracle. It was a brutal meritocracy where only the most capable, most results driven individuals survive and thrive. There was little tolerance for underperformance, and Ellison himself was famously direct, even brutal in his assessment. This internal Darwinism meant the company constantly shed weaker links in retaining a lean, hyper efficient, and highly motivated workforce focused on aggressive targets and groundbreaking innovation. It's like a special forces unit. Only the absolute best are kept. So, how does this apply to you? Well, while extreme forms are rarely advisable, cultivate a culture of high performance and accountability. Clearly define expectation, provide direct, candid feedback, and be prepared to make tough personal decisions that prioritize excellence. Reward merit and results, fostering a dynamic environment where the top talent can truly excel and propel your organization forward. Now, strategy number 7 is called the Phoenix Leap. Funny name. Yeah, I know. Well, this is betting big on tomorrow, and that's why it's called that. So Ellison's greatest strategic genius might be his almost paradoxical willingness to make a massive bet the company pivots in the response to technological shifts. Often after initially dismissing them, his turnaround on the internet and the most famously on cloud computing exemplifies this. After initially scoffing at the cloud, he completely reversed course, investing billions to build Oracle Cloud infrastructure, aggressively repositioning Oracle as a cloud first company. This wasn't an incremental change, it was a full scale strategic overhaul that risked massive investments to seize future market dominance. It's like burning your own perfect good ship to build a better one. Knowing the tide is turning, takeaway for you is regularly conduct a red team exercises within your own organization to challenge current strategic assumptions and identify potential disruptive shifts. Be prepared to make bold, decisive strategic pivots, even if they require significant investment and risk, rather than clinging to outdated models. The future rewards the bold. Remember that. The future rewards the bold, which then leads us to strategy and lesson number 8, the digital fortress. Building an empire. Oracle's long term strategy wasn't just about selling a database, it was about building an entire ecosystem of enterprise software: ERP, CRM, HSCM, middleware, and eventually cloud infrastructure. By acquiring and developing a comprehensive suite of interconnected applications, Oracle aimed to become a single vendor for all critical enterprise IT needs. This full stack approach offered customers a single point of accountability, tighter integration, and lower total cost of ownership. It created a powerful integrated digital fortress, which is like a moat, that was incredibly difficult for competitors to penetrate. So, for your business, identify opportunities to expand your core product into a broader integrated ecosystem. Can you offer complementary services, develop related products, or acquire technologies that create more comprehensive one-stop shop solution for your customers? Make yourself not just a vendor, but an indispensable partner in their entire operational landscape. And now, strategy number 9 is the strategic sacrifice. When Oracle moved into the cloud, Ellison wasn't afraid to disrupt Oracle's own highly lucrative on premise software license business. He understood that the future was in the cloud subscription and that the only way to win was to aggressively transition customers to the cloud, even if it meant initially cannibalizing existing revenue streams. This required a fundamental shift in sales, compensation, and strategy, pushing cloud adoption and even the expense of traditional license sales. It was a calculated act of self disruption to secure future dominance, like a snake shedding its skin. The critical lesson here: be willing to disrupt your own successful business models if necessary to align with the future market trends. Incentivize your teams to embrace new, potentially less immediately profitable offerings that position your company for long-term dominance, even if it means sacrificing short-term gains from legacy products. Innovation often requires strategic self cannibalization. And now, the last strategy. If you haven't already subscribed, like, and leave a comment down below. So, number 10, the last strategy is called the eternal underdog, dominance born from hunger. Despite Oracle's massive size and market dominance, Ellison consistently maintained a challenger mindset. He frequently positioned Oracle as an underdog or an insurgent against larger or more established rivals. Whether it was IBM in the early days, SAP later, or Amazon Web Services more recently, this underdog mentally fueled a relentless drive to innovate, acquire, and outperform, preventing complacency, and it kept the companies agile and hungry. This, despite its immense success, fostering a culture of continuing competitive striving, like a heavyweight boxer who still trains like a contender, like a champion who still trains like somebody that is climbing to that top number one spot. So your takeaway here is regardless of your market position, cultivate the challenger or underdog mentality with your organization. Continuously look for new markets to disrupt, established players to outmaneuver, or conventional wisdom to overturn. This mindset can prevent complacency and drive continuous innovation and aggressive growth, keeping your dynasty alive and thriving. Now, there you have it. There you have it. The 10 strategic weapons forged by Larry Ellison, Oracle's dynasty. These aren't just historical footnotes, okay? They're actionable blueprints for strategic dominance in today's business landscape. If you're serious about building your own dynasty and about mastering the strategic dominance and the future proofing of your venture, then you have to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, because each episode delivers invaluable insight like these. Don't miss the next masterclass. Hit the subscribe button right now and join our growing community of high ambitious leaders who are designing their destiny. Until next time, peace.